So today, this is the start of Unit 3. Okay? We are going to be talking about two religions in Unit 3. They're related, and they're very popular throughout the world right now. We're going to be talking about Islam and Judaism. And today the focus of the class is going to be taking a look at the story of the father of religions. This person that we're going to look at is the father of the three major Western religions: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So it's very important that we understand his story. Also in his story is going to be the relationship, or how the relationship between Jews and God come to be, and how the relationship between Muslims and God comes to be. And you're going to see it's very different, and that's going to impact us today, the different types of relationships they have. Okay? So I'm going to be telling it with these amazing visuals up here. Then there is a copy of the actual Bible verse that describes this on the internet, so you can read that. And then, I am so nice, you can study for your test, which is Thursday. Okay, hopefully by the end, you can explain the story of A. I'm not going to give away his name yet. A. Okay? And you can explain the different relationships Islam and Judaism have with God. And it's very interesting because the relationship, the same God, is very different. And it's because of this story. Okay. You ready? Okay. Our story takes place a long, long time ago in a city called Ur. Now, Ur is today located in Iraq. Back then, it was located in what we call Mesopotamia. Okay? Now, Ur was a very famous trading city. And it had routes that would run up the rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris, up into this area which we know today as modern Turkey, and connected down here through Syria and what we know as Israel into Egypt. So it was well connected. And the gentleman we're going to be talking about today, someone like this, and his name was Abram. Abram was born into a trading family. Okay? They had what we would call camel caravans. So they would get goods here, take the camels, go up, trade, down here, trade, bring stuff back. So they were a wealthy family. They had a lot of slaves, extended family, those kind of things. When he was about I would say 50s, this area started to get very violent. There was a lot of war. So a lot of people started to move out of that area. His father was one of those. So he packed up the family. Using his connections, he moved up into this area to a place called Haran. Okay. Now, his father, Abram's father, is going to die. And this means Abram becomes the patriarch, or the head of the family. So he's the one that's going to rule the family, make all of the decisions for the family. Now, Abram was married to a woman from Ur, and her name was Sarai. S-A-R-A-I. Sarai. Okay? Now, Abram and Sarai, at the time they're going to They were, oh, I would say about their 80s when we're really getting into the start of this story. So Sarai and Abram, they really like children, they want to have children, but they can't for some reason. Of course, she blames herself. So she says, Abram, I know you love children, I can't give them to you, so I'm going to give you a present. And what does she do? She gives him one of her slave girls, named Hagar. Now Hagar just happens to come from what we call Egypt. So Sarai says, Abram, I can't give you children, so I'll be nice. I will give you Hagar, my slave. You can have her and have children with her. I don't think wives would give their husband another wife, but she does. She's a very nice lady at this time. Now, Abram and Hagar are going to produce a child. Well, what's interesting is at the time, Abram is 86 years old. So Abram at 86 is going to have his first child. So they're both in diapers, right, Ryan? So an 86-year-old man is having his first child. Now, his first child, this is a very important person, is named Ishmael. Now remember, Ishmael is a product of Hagar and Abram. Okay? This is very important because this means that Ishmael is not 100% the same ethnic group. He is what Japanese people would call a half. Right? He's half of Abram's social group or ethnic group and half of Hagar's. And this is very important to the story. Okay? So Abram is a very happy man and he's living along, everything's beautiful. He has his wife who he loves, he has the second wife that he can do other things with, and he has a son. For the next 12, 13 years, everybody's happy. And then suddenly, Abram has a visitor. And who is visiting Abram? Well, it's God. God is coming to talk to Abram in the form of the archangel Gabriel. So, God comes down to Abram and he says, listen, let's make a deal. Let's make an agreement. And this agreement we now call a covenant. So God approaches Abram and says, I want to make a deal with you. I want to have a covenant with you. And Abram goes, cool. What do I have to do? And God says, tell you what, I'm going to tell you what I'll give you first. So God is so nice, he's going to give Abram stuff. And the first thing he's going to give him is Canaan. He says, you're up here in Haran, you can move to Canaan and I will give it to you and your descendants forever. It will always be yours. Now Canaan is what we would know today as Israel. So God's first promise is, I will give you Canaan. Move into this area, and it's yours forever. God's so nice. Okay? I will give you this. Not only that, I'm going to give you numerous descendants. So your family and your descendants are going to be huge numbers. This is interesting because he only has one son. But God says, your grandchildren and children's children's children shall be huge. In fact, there will be so many of them, I will give them lots of kings. There will be lots of kings that come from you. Right? So they will control lots of nations. Pretty good deal so far. Well, just think, you get land forever. You don't have to worry about it. You get numerous descendants, so you know your name will forever be there. And you know they're going to be important because you have lots of kings. And then God pulls a very interesting trick. He says, not only that, I will give you a son. I will give you a son from Sodom. Abram starts laughing. Yeah, I'm 99 and she's 89. We're not having children. And God says, yes, I will give you a son. And Abram says, well, you're God. Okay. Now, remember, this is a deal. So one side is given stuff. Now the other side has to. So Abraham's going, what do I have to give? Ryan, what do you think? What would you think? For all of this, would you have to give? Yourself. Yes, of course you have to give yourself. The first thing that God says is, you have to worship me. Right? The first thing is, you have to worship me. I am to be your most powerful God. Right? The second thing, and it's very easy, all you have to do is change your name. Change your name from Abram to Abraham. That's pretty easy so far. Okay. Sarai, you're no longer going to be called Sarai, you have to be called Sarah. Your son, when he is born, you will need to name Isaac.